sir.
Dear student, good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Today we are going to discuss, we are going to continue our discussion on research methodology. In fact, this was the last slide which we have discussed in the last lecture. Uh, I wanted to tell you what are going to be essentials and dispensables. As far as essentials are concerned, whenever you want to have, whenever if you, I mean, if you want to do a quality research, then you need to have a smart idea. Smart idea means hypothesis. Hypothesis could be like, in order to have hypothesis, you need to do a rigorous literature review that I'm going to tell you in due course of time. So you need to have a rigorous literature review. Once you have a hypothesis with you, you need to see like what are the resources available. You need to ensure that you are going to invest time properly so that you can end up with the wonderful quality data, and which that will lead to the very important conclusion, which is going to be useful for society as well. Then another important essential is proper guidance. Like whenever you will be doing PhD or whenever you will be doing research, you need to have a proper guidance. Proper guidance means the person who is going to guide you, your PhD advisor, need to be kindly. I request you all to keep your yourself muted so that there won't be any problem. Thank you very much. So if you really want to have a quality data, then proper guidance is going to be very important. But for some reason, if you are not able to have a proper guidance, then you need to identify, for example, unfortunately, you are in the laboratory wherein your PhD advisor or your research advisor doesn't have proper exposure, so in that case, you need to identify the person from whom you can get the proper guidance. So that is going to be very important. The next essential for doing quality research is sincerity and consistency, because you need to be very sincere. I mean, it's not like, as I mentioned earlier, if you really want to have the good result or impactful data from your research, you need to, your consistency and sincerity is going to be very, very important. And then moreover, like even if you are sincere, even if you are consistent, sometimes in research, even if you are doing same experiment, but you may not, I mean, you don't know, sometimes it may take hell of time for you to get the proper data, proper results. And therefore you need to have a very, very, you need to be very patientful personality. And truly speaking, I would say, if you are in research, automatically, like if you are following all those processes, I mean, in research, you are going to develop this kind of skills. The patience is going to be one of the very important skills of researcher, and this skill is going to be inculcated automatically by default when you are doing PhD or whenever you are in the research. So these are important, essential, which I talked about the same points in the last lecture. And there are some dispensable, as I mentioned earlier, that avoiding library visit, because nowadays most of the research scholar and most of the student, they don't want to visit library. The reason being, they believe that they have everything on tip of their finger, right? Because everything is there on net, and therefore they believe that they don't need to visit library. But truly speaking, there are some very old references which may not be available in in digitized form, and therefore you need to visit library very regularly. Then you need to avoid plagiarism, because nowadays, because of this internet network, and since everything is available in digitized form, you may get tempted to copy from other resources, whatever the resources are available, and you may get tempted to use those, copy paste data in your own, publication as well, and that may lead to a very serious problem in your day-to-day life. And therefore you need to get rid of this plagiarism issue. And the last one is avoiding logbook entries, because I have seen over the years there are many students, they are not very serious about making entries or keeping notes of what they are doing in the laboratory. Truly speaking, whatever you are doing, that need to be recorded properly, timely recorded, so that if at all you are in trouble in terms of plagiarism, if somebody is blaming you, you will be able to get relief from the court of law if you are having all those entries with you. So this we have discussed in the last lecture. So if you are a research scholar, if you are a schoolboy, you may not be very serious about what kind of research aim you are going to have, what is going to be principle of research, what conclusion you will be drawing, what materials and methods you will be using, and what are going to be your observation. You will be a really confused person. But as far as the scientist is concerned, like if you are having scientific approach, obviously you will be very clear about what is going to be a problem, how the problem can be identified, what the literature review is all about, how to collect the data, how it is to be analyzed and interpreted, and accordingly the interpretation of research and evaluation of the data which you will be having. As far as the formulation of a synopsis is concerned, synopsis means like whenever you will be doing research, you need to formulate you need to prepare a draft in which you will be mentioning, you will be having introduction of the topic, and then you will be doing literature review. Literature review will tell you what is happening elsewhere, and based on that, you will be making statement that okay, if I do this, I'm going to achieve this. This is what you call as hypothesis. Like while after doing some important steps in the research, you will be reaching some destination, right? This is what the hypothesis is going to be, and then you will be based on hypothesis, you will be setting objectives, and based on objectives, you will be having methodology. You will be conducting experiment, and then you will be having data with you, and which is going to be interpreted accordingly. Will be drawing conclusions. So this is what the research process is all about. Now while drafting that while preparing this draft of this document, what you need to do, like the problem identification, as I mentioned earlier, in research is going to be very important. जैसे मैंने पहले भी आपको बताया कि इवन हमारे जीवन में भी अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो, एंड इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट प्रॉब्लम प्रॉपरली, देन that may lead to a chaos in your life as well. And therefore what kind of scientific processes we need to follow. The very first process that we need to follow is you need to follow all the natural phenomena and processes. I mean, like whatever the sensory organs we have, we need to keep all our sensory organ active. You need to observe all those things, like what you need to listen carefully. You need to, as I mentioned earlier, there are 5 to 6 attributes. Like you need to be good reader, you need to be good observer, you need to be good listener, you need to be good action take and analyst, you need to be action planner, and you need to be good action taker, right? So similarly, you need to keep your all senses open, so that you will be able to keep on observing important happening around you, right? And that will help you to formulate your hypothesis. So once you formulate your hypothesis, the next step would be formulating the set of objectives, designing objectives and methodologies. Like objectives means what? Like in hypothesis, usually हम क्या करते हैं, hypothesis में कोई एक statement होगा, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया आपको कि you will be making statement that after if I do this and these steps, I'm going to achieve this and this, I'm going to reach this and this destination, right? So this is like kind of a statement in the form of statement, that you will be making statement that if I do this, I'm going to achieve this. Then next step would be how you are going to do that, right? So for that purpose, you need to design set of objectives. Objectives need to be always in bullet form. So objectives means like first step what you will be doing, second step what you will be doing, third step what you will be doing, and so on and so forth, right? So next to objectives will be methodology. Methodology means objective जो आपने लिखा है कि ये हमें ये करना है, methodology would be how you are going to do that, right? Objective means what you are going to do, and methodology means how you are going to do, what kind of tools you will be using to fulfill your objectives, right? And then accordingly you are like once you design your objectives, methodology, once you do the experiment, you are going to get results. If the results are expected, you will be very happy, क्योंकि जब भी हमें एक्सपेक्टेड रिजल्ट होते हैं तो हम यूजुअली बड़े खुश होते हैं, एंड देन we will be analyzing those results, and then you will be drawing important conclusion, and then you will be publishing that data in good journal. But if sometimes in research Every time you are not going to get expected result. You may get unexpected data as well, and whenever you will be having unexpected data, usually research scholar का ये mindset होता है कि जब unexpected data आया तो हम उसको फेंक देते, उसको हम seriously नहीं लेते. But we never know, because today you believe that the data is not as per your expectation, and since you are not properly equipped, you may not be able to interpret that data properly at that particular point of time, and as a result of that, you may feel that that data is useless for you, but you never know. What you need to do is, जब भी कभी आपको unexpected result आते research में, तो what you need to do, you need to, instead of throwing that data away, you need to identify the person who will be like better equipped as compared to you, like the कोई senior professor, कोई senior scientist, senior research scholar, and then you need to discuss that data with him, and he may give you some kind of tips, some guidance to interpret the data, and that data, whatever unexpected data जो आपको मिला है, you never know, that may lead to like very good publication as well. So जब भी हमें अनएक्सपेक्टेड डेटा मिलता है, तब मायूस होकर उस डेटा को फेंकने के बजाय, what you need to do, you need to record that data properly, discuss it with some senior research scholar, and then try to analyze it, so that that may lead to very wonderful conclusions, and then you will be able to publish that data in good journal. So this is the kind of processes that you need to follow whenever you are in the research. Now, if you really want to do the impactful research, you need to be you need to work together, like you need to work in collaboration. जैसे मैंने बताया था आपको पहले कि whatever the research processes I will be telling you, I will be discussing with you, सभी research processes को जो है मैं आपके day to day life के साथ भी जोड़ना चाहूंगा, कनेक्ट करना चाहूंगा. जैसे कि आपको पहले बताऊं कि जब हम कभी भी सोसाइटी में जब हम कोई इम्पैक्टफुल या सिग्निफिकेंट काम करने की कोशिश करते हैं, and if you are doing it alone, I'm sure the impact of that work is not going to be that much great, right? So if you really working together, जब आप कोई कॉलोनी में, आप एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लीजिए, आप जब जिस कॉलेज में, जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में आप पढ़ते हो, आप अगर इंडिपेंडेंट कोई काम करने की कोशिश करोगे, इंडिविजुअल कोई काम करने की कोशिश करेंगे, तो आई एम श्योर आपको सक्सेस जो है लिमिटेड सक्सेस रहेगा. लेकिन आप अगर एक 2-3 बच्चों की टीम बनाकर आप अगर काम करोगे, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट कुछ ज्यादा होगा. Similarly, like if you are in the society and if you are doing some very creative work alone, उसका इम्पैक्ट उतना सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं होगा. लेकिन आप अगर आपके साथ आपके नेबर को और नेबर के नेबर को आप अगर इकट्ठा करके, अगर 2-4 लोग अगर एक साथ आकर अगर कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स अगर आप कॉलोनी में लेते हो, तो आई एम श्योर उसका इम्पैक्ट कुछ अलग होगा. इसका मतलब ये है कि कोलैबोरेटिव काम करना, उसका अलग ही इम्पैक्ट होता है. सेम थिंग इज ट्रू इन रिसर्च एज वेल. As far as research is concerned, like you need to have an interdepartmental collaboration, truly speaking. Interdepartmental, why? You can, let me tell you. Like for example, in our university, we are having 4 different specialization. In physics, we are having 4 different specialization: electronics, material science, spectroscopy, and nuclear physics. Now, if all these the teachers or research scholars from these specializations working in isolated islands independently, like there won't be any connectivity, and there will of course they may have success, but that the success level का जो होगा ना, उसका level एक सीमित, एक limited level होगा. But if they are having collaboration together, like sometimes what happens, you may be having some teacher who will be very good in mathematics, right? Mathematical computation, because sometimes you need to do the simulation, you need to write the mathematical you need to do the mathematical modeling of some of the devices. For that purpose, आपको अगर आपके पास कोई ऐसे टीचर हो जो मैथमेटिक्स में अच्छे हैं, कुछ टीचर ऐसे कि जो एक्सपेरिमेंट में बड़े अच्छे हैं, because there are some people they may not be good in experimentation, right? कुछ लोग जो है एक्सपेरिमेंट में अच्छे रहेंगे, कुछ लोग जो है सॉफ्टवेयर में अच्छे रहेंगे, जो मतलब प्रोग्रामिंग में अच्छे रहेंगे, right? So if you can have a group of all those people together within the department, let me tell you, my friend, you can have a wonderful output, like very significant output. This is what you call as intra-department collaboration. Inter-department would be something like Department of Physics having collaboration with chemistry, Department of Physics having collaboration with Department of Computer Science. So this is kind of interdepartmental collaboration. So we need to have a intra-department collaboration, means within the department, and we need to have a interdepartment collaboration as well. Next is going to be inter-university, because sometimes what happens, you may be having limited infrastructure, you may be having limited intellectual manpower. So in that case, like for example, you are good in physics, but you are not good in chemistry, right? So for that purpose, and you unfortunately you don't have a good resource available even in chemistry department of your own university. Then what you can do, you can identify one resource from the other university in the same country, like at national level, and to whom you can tie up with, and then you can have a wonderful collaboration. And if you can come together, definitely the quality of research would be altogether different. So inter-university within the country, and we need to have a inter-university outside the country as well. Collaboration inter-university outside the country. Why it is important? Because you see, like if you don't have collaboration, then you will be following very conventional methodology for doing your research. Conventional means like if you like हो सकता है शायद आपने 10 साल पहले रिसर्च उस टॉपिक पे करना शुरू किया होगा, तो यू विल बी फॉलोइंग सेम मेथोडोलॉजी, सेम स्ट्रेटेजी, राइट? लेकिन अगर आप किसी और के साथ में अगर आप कोलैबोरेट करते हो, लाइक एट इंटरनेशनल लेवल, right? So you will be having opportunity to see like what is happening elsewhere, मतलब उन लोगों का approach कैसा है, and then that like occasionally, like if you are visiting that university outside the country, or if you are inviting that professor or scientist to your university and having interaction, academic interaction, discussion, that will provide you a wonderful opportunity to learn what kind of strategy they are having in their research, right? And therefore that collaboration is going to be very important. And you need to have industrial collaboration as well, because unless we academics are getting are well connected with industry, the application, because you may be, for example, like if you are developing sensor gadgets, right? But if you need to have a platform, right? Once you develop sensor gadgets, you need to have a platform wherein like you will be able to utilize that sensing gadget, right? And moreover, like if you are having industrial collaboration, because the people who are working in industry, they will be able to understand the what kind of expectation customer will be having as far as the products are concerned. Because if you are having academic collaboration, then you will be good in laboratory level research, but like if you really want to convert your laboratory level research into the product, then you need to have industrial collaboration. So industrial collaboration is also going to be very important. Let me tell you, my friend, in most of the foreign countries, you're not going to get a straightway job in the academics. You need to spend at least 5 years in industry, then only you will be eligible for getting job in academic. This is how the most of the developed countries, like this kind of practice they are having. And moreover, continuously they are sending their teachers to the industry, uh, like maybe for 1 year or 2 year in between, so that they will be able to understand what are the requirement of industry, and so that that kind of changes they can incorporate in their research, and they will be able to fine tune their research. So therefore the collaborations are going to be very important in research. So by this way, we have finished unit number 1. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, the first internal test would be based on unit number 1. There will be only 5 MCQs, because this is a 2-credit course, and therefore for 4-credit course, the internal test will have 10 MCQs, and each MCQ will have one question, 2 marks, right? For a 2-credit course, there will be only 5 MCQs for internal test, and therefore each question will have 2 marks. So like that, there will be 2 internal tests. One would be based on unit number 1, and second would be on unit number 2, and then we are going to have average of 2, and that would be your internal 10 marks, and then the remaining 40 marks would be from semester end examination. As I mentioned earlier, in semester end there would be 20 questions of 2 marks each, and everything would be through online mode and through Google Form. So the second unit is going to be identification of research problem. Like how to identify the research problem. Research problem को identify कैसे करना है. Now, first of all, you need to understand what the research is all about. Research is, let me tell you, because I have discussed and I told you like many other definitions, but this is going to be one of the very up-to-date definition, I would say. The systematic, rigorous investigation of situation or a problem in order to generate new knowledge or validate existing knowledge. It means that sometimes whatever the rigorous systematic steps you will be following to generate either new knowledge or you will be validating existing knowledge, like there would be, for example, you must be knowing that Raman effect, Raman scattering was first time theoretically, in 1928 we got this Raman effect, right? And later on Raman got Nobel Prize as well, because he has experimentally proved that that scattering, elastic and inelastic scattering, right? But before that, there was a scientist who theoretically predicted Raman effect, right? So if you are having some theoretical uh, assumption to begin with, so what you can do some experiment and you can prove those theoretical assumption, right? Or whatever practical models available, you can modify those practical models, and then you can fine tune those practical models as well. So research means it is like a very systematic and rigorous investigation of a whatever the problem it could be, in order to generate either new knowledge or validate existing knowledge. There are two different kind of research: basic research and applied research. What is basic research? Basic research is driven by a scientist's curiosity or interest in the scientific question. The main motivation is to expand man's knowledge, not to create or invent something. There is no obvious commercial value to the discoveries that result from the basic result. What does it mean? It means that there may not be commercial, as far as the fundamental research is concerned, there may not be commercial value for that fundamental research. But whenever you are having some curiosity, whenever there is a like for example something is happening but you don't know till मतलब हो रहा है लेकिन आपको पता नहीं ऐसा कैसे हो रहा है. जैसे कि first time Newton, because Newton is the person who has first time show proved the और या तो हमें बता दिया कि व्हाट इज द ग्रेविटेशन, राइट? उससे पहले सब पता था कि जब हम कोई पेड़ से अगर कोई फ्रूट्स अगर नीचे गिरता है, इट इज गोइंग टू बी फॉल डाउन, एवरीबॉडी नोज. बट ये ग्रेविटेशन की वजह से होता है, ये सबसे पहले न्यूटन साहब ने बताया, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट यू कॉल एज अ फंडामेंटल रिसर्च, राइट? So some of the example of fundamental or basic research is how did the universe begin? मतलब यूनिवर्स की शुरुआत कैसे हुई? What are the protons, neutrons, and electrons composed of? This is a very fundamental research because it may not have commercial value. Similarly, what are the root causes of human erratic behavior? जो हम इंडिविजुअल, जो हमारा ह्यूमन बीइंग का जो इरेटिक बिहेवियर होता है ना, कभी कभी हम बड़े अच्छे बिहेव करते हैं, कभी कभी बड़ा इरेटिकली बिहेव करते हैं. तो व्हाट इज द बेसिक रूट कॉजेस फॉर दैट, राइट? सो दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ फंडामेंटल, we call it as a basic research, right? On other hand, you have applied research. Before that, let me tell you the correlational research. What is the correlational research? Correlational research refers to the systematic investigation of statistical study of relationship among two or more variables without necessarily determine the cause effect. Sometimes correlational research means there will be two different parameters, and you will be eager to understand what kind of what is the effect of first parameter on other. Like example, listening to music lowers the blood pressure levels. So there are two ways of conducting research, right, as far as this particular research is concerned, because this is what you call as correlational research. Listening music lowers the blood pressure level. इसका मतलब ये है कि म्यूजिक सुनकर ब्लड प्रेशर को मतलब कम करने का कोई तरीका, राइट? तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि like if somebody listening, because listening music is one of the process that will like that will affect substantially the another parameter. So this is what we call as correlational research. But whenever we are talking about correlational research, there could be two different ways to undertake correlational research. One is experimental, other is survey. So whenever we are talking about experimental, it means that there will be a group of samples and make one group listen to music and then compare the BP level. So there would be like two groups. One would be listening music and other will not be. Like one that is what we call as a control group. One will be control group, another will be the group on which we will be doing experimentation. And then you can see those who were listening music, whether they have got substantial reduction in their BP level or not. And other, if they are not listening, then what is going to, what would be the, I mean, that BP level, right? So this is what you call experimental research. You will be doing some experiment, right? And based on the experiment, you will be drawing some conclusion. However, there will be some survey kind of research, right? Like correlational research can be carried out in two ways, as I mentioned earlier. One will be experimental, other will be survey. In survey, you will be asking people how they feel. Like you are not going to do any experiment, but what you will be doing, you will be meeting the people, you will be interacting with the people, you will be asking them whether you are listening music regularly, and then whether that helps you to reduce your blood pressure. You are not doing any experiment. You will be only interacting with the participant, and then based on their impact, their feedback, you will be drawing some conclusions, right? And then you will be comparing, like those who are not listening, what is their input, and those who are listening music, as far as the lowering BP is concerned, what is their input, and then you will be comparing. As I mentioned earlier, as far as the experimental research is concerned, बेसिक रिसर्च आई टोल्ड यू लाइक दैट इट इज ए काइंड ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग. मतलब हमें कोई क्यूरियोसिटी है, इसीलिए हम कुछ रिसर्च करते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट यू कॉल एज बेसिक रिसर्च. बट एज फार एज एक्सपेरिमेंट रिसर्च इज कंसर्न, एन experimental research is a study in which the treatment, procedure or program is intentionally introduced and result or outcome is observed. Like there will be some intentional activities, like whenever you will be doing experiment in the laboratory, you will be intentionally varying some input, right? Because you will be varying some input intentionally, and accordingly you will observe output, right? It means this would be a kind of intentional experiment you will be doing in order to get some result. Like as I mentioned earlier, BP level measurement, like you will be doing some experiment, like there will be one particular group, you will be asking them to listen music, and then you will see like whether that helps them to reduce their blood pressure level, right? This is a kind of experiment you will be conducting. Again, as far as the research is concerned, there are two broader perspective of research. One is called as qualitative research, other is called as quantitative research, right? Again, as far as, because since it will be it is my responsibility to tell you, although this is not included, everything is not included in syllabus, but I thought I should tell you the difference between qualitative and quantitative research as well. First of all, let me tell you what is qualitative research. Qualitative research is a research dealing with the phenomena that are difficult or impossible to quantify mathematically, such as belief, meanings, attributes and symbols. मतलब कुछ ऐसी चीजें होती है कि जो हम मैथमेटिकली प्रूव नहीं कर सकते, उसको कोई इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्वांटिटी हम नहीं बता सकते. जैसे कि भरोसा करना, अरे कितना भरोसा करते हो आप, इतना सा, कितना भरोसा करते हैं. जैसे कि आप अगर पूछेंगे डू यू ट्रस्ट मी, वो कहेगा यस, तो यू आर गोइंग टू आस्क हिम और हर लाइक हाउ मच, right? So he will not be able to tell you like 10% and 20%, because it cannot be quantified mathematically, right? Like beliefs, meanings, attributes cannot be quantified mathematically, right? Qualitative research technique include focus groups, interviews and observations. So qualitative research में क्या होता है, जब आप quantitative मतलब mathematically अगर prove नहीं कर सकते तो क्या होगा फिर, तो इसमें generally क्या होगा कि interviews होंगे, observations होंगे, based on observation. like जैसे कि आपको मैंने बताया ना कि जो ये example सर्वे का example जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि for example मुझे सर्वे करना है कि सभी घरों में जो माँ बाप जो है हमारे बच्चों को जब बच्चे जब छोटे होते हैं, जैसे कि कुछ माँ बाप होते हैं कि अपने बच्चों को कभी भी नहीं डांटते, कुछ माँ बाप होते हैं कि जो रोज मतलब इवन थोड़ा भी इधर उधर हुआ तो दे आर गोइंग टू दे विल बी वेरी हार्श टू देयर किड्स, राइट। तो अगर आप ये सर्वे करना चाहो, तो आप अगर मान लो एक कॉलोनी में गए एंड देन यू आइडेंटिफाई द ग्रुप्स, लाइक इफ देयर आर 100 हाउसेस इन द कॉलोनी फॉर एग्जांपल, आपने दो दो ग्रुप में उसको बांट दिया। One group, like you have like first of all you have collected the data। आपने पूछा कि भाई आपके घर में जब बच्चे जब गलतियां करते तो आप डांटते हो क्या? तो आपको रिस्पॉन्स मिला नहीं, नहीं डांटते, कभी भी नहीं डांटते, राइट। सो यू हैव गॉट लाइक लेट अस से 50 हाउसेस ऑफ दिस कैटेगरी एंड another 50 houses is yes, थोड़ा भी कुछ हुआ तो डांटते, राइट। So then what you will be doing, there will be two groups, right, and then you will be interacting with them, you will be having questions। तो ठीक है, आप अगर नहीं डांटते तो how you have seen the progress of your development of your like overall development of your kids। जो डांटने के बाद उनकी डेवलपमेंट एकेडमिक ग्रोथ कैसी है, राइट, ओवरऑल सोशल ग्रोथ उसकी कैसी है, राइट, ऑन वन पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप, अदर ग्रुप उनके पास कैसा है। सो इट वुड बी काइंड ऑफ इंटरव्यूज, यू विल बी टेकिंग, यू विल बी इंटरैक्टिंग, यू विल बी having interviews, and sometimes you will be observing too, like you may not be taking interviews, but you can observe. Let us say for example, observation means, let us say there is one college which is called as like only girls college, right, not girls college, like co-education college, right। तो co-education college में आप अगर behavior देखोगे लड़की लड़कियों का, like girl student, the behavior of student, girl student for example, like co-education college, right। तो co-education college में आप you will be observing, you are not going to interact, have the interaction with anybody, but you will be just कीप ऑन ऑब्जर्विंग। आप जाएंगे, आप देखेंगे उनका ऑब्जर्वेशन को एजुकेशन कॉलेज में, एंड अनदर वुड बी लाइक ओनली गर्ल्स कॉलेज, एंड वहां पर आप लड़कियों का जो बिहेवियर है, उनका उनका जो डील करने का तरीका है, उनका एकेडमिक ग्रोथ कैसे है, वो अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करेंगे, सो इट इज काइंड ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन। सो इन क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च यू विल बी फॉर्मिंग फोकस ग्रुप्स, you will be having interviews, you will be having interactions, you will be observing some facts, and then based on that you will be collecting some data, okay, and then based on those data you will be interpreting, and then you will be having a kind of some very important research, like for example, how was your experience today, right? This is another example, like how was your, if somebody is asking how was your experience today, so you can say that either great or fine or boring or terrible, but you will not be able to tell, okay, my experience is 10% good or 20% bad. No, you will not be like, I will always come up with like very great or very fine, or it was boring or something of that sort. So this cannot be quantified, right? This cannot be quantified. So the parameters which the issues which cannot be quantified, right, that kind of issues can be dealt with the research approach, and that research approach is referred as a qualitative research approach. After